Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you had an enjoyable and safe weekend. Today, we're going to talk about something very critical when you have a possibly reactive type dog, either aggressively or very fearfully. These are really situations that can have lasting consequences for your dog. So we really want to make sure that we treat all encounters the same way. Okay, today I want to concentrate mostly on the house. This is your home. The next couple of days, we're going to talk about guests. We've covered in several videos before this one about reactive dogs on walks. How do we deal with a dog that encounters unfamiliar dogs or unfamiliar people and is known to be reactive to them while we're out walking? Well, now we're going to talk about today and for the next couple of days about when guests enter your home. Oh my gosh, we love company, some do, some don't, but for the most part, we want our dogs to accept everyone that walks into our house. We want them to have all these guests come in and gloat over our dogs and go, wow, what a wonderful dog you have. What kind of dog is that? We want a well-behaved dog. And we want our dog to like everyone. We really do. I mean, I know I would like my dog to like everyone, but I also know that that's not really realistic. There's going to be people that my dog will not like per se, more or less be fearful of them or be willing to guard his sacred territory. Because remember, the house itself, for dogs, they have territories. They have a home and then they have a yard. Well, they don't really have knowledge of where the deed lines are. So this territory outside, what we call the home range, can extend beyond the home. But this right here, that's that core center. Remember, that's the most heavily defensible place in the world. This is where they're going to defend more than any other place. Why Edward O. Wilson, in his book on human nature, defined this as the invincible center. Flat out, nothing more vigorously defended on the planet Earth than the home. And just think about all the laws that we have that protect us in our homes. So there's a real problem when people come to our home. Unless they just walk right in your door. They just do a knocking in and come right on in. You should be able to avoid any sort of situations that could arise when people arrive at your home. Case in point, if they knock on the door, you don't have to answer immediately. You can say through the door, 1 second, give me a second. But know this, when you do answer the door and your dog is with you, whoever this is, whatever it is parked dead smack in the dog's critical zone. So remember from previous videos, there's a threat zone, there's a critical. And the threat zone, if we determine it's a possible threat, meaning it may be something that I feel I may need to invoke self-defense aggression with, or I may simply be wanting to defend my invisible center here. So you are an intruder. Either way, in the threat zone, we typically display, growl, hackles up, what have you. In the critical zone, well, we either attack, so we employ the hawk strategy, or we employ the dove strategy. Either way, that's going to happen right here. So here is the critical zone. And most people take their dogs to the door with them, and in most cases, they're not even on a leash. So when this door opens, wow, it's all up to your dog to determine, what do I need to do with this? Now, again, a lot of young puppies, they will typically start jumping on them. They would get really excited to see them. But animals change as they become older. Remember, the aperture for identifying threats accurately and the strategies employed to deal with those threats change as they age because they're basically being prepared by nature to protect their own offspring, to protect their own territory, to protect their own core area, the nesting site, the den site. This is all instinct. We do the same darn thing. So be very careful about ever taking your dog to the door. I personally just don't believe in it. You can go to the door if you have a glass window in it. Maybe you can peer out. You can say, hey, 1 second, my friend. Get your dog on a leash because things change. Unless it's a family member that comes to your home every day. If they come to your home only about once a month, they're not a family member to the dog. You're an acquaintance. I know you just a little bit. And again, they change. Perceptions change. The very same person who your dog accepted last week shows up this week in a hat, shows up this week in a coat, in a beanie, and sunglasses. And now all of a sudden to the dog, that person just changed. Or during the absence, I like this person, I really do. But in the 2 weeks since I've seen this person, I encountered a person that looks like him that scared me, that did something that caused me to employ either the hawk or the dove strategy. And now all of a sudden something similar shows up at the door. So over the next couple of days, we're going to give you some strategies to employ when you own a dog and you have guests arriving at your house. I just truly do not believe that they need to meet the guests right here at the door. It's like a jack in a box, like those elevators. What's behind door number 2? It's just not necessary. They can meet them once they've entered, once the dog has calmed down. Remember the arousal column. Once they've come down from that arousal column, either whether they're excited or whether they're thinking about employing one of my strategies, hawk or dove. Let them come in. Allow for decay. Remember I talked about that in yesterday's video. Most people say, you know, Bryan, yeah, my dog really seems aggressive when people first come over. A lot of growling, barking, hackles up. But give him a couple of minutes and he seems fine. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's called decay. Decay, dropping down from that high level in the arousal column, down, closer to that calm zone. Remember, I can think more clearly down here. I can evaluate more clearly. I can make an accurate assessment. What am I dealing with? What is that animal's resource holding potential? What's it like? Yeah, give your dog time to deal with that. You wouldn't want to deal with that yourself. You swing this door open, there's some person standing there in a ski mask. Yeah, you'd like to have a little warning on that, I'm sure. So again, this is just another one of those many situations with dogs in which it's either initial success or it's total failure. There's just not enough benefit in allowing your dog to greet people come through the door. There's just not enough. But there's way too many costs involved. Way too many. So that being said, let me kind of show you here real quick what I'm talking about today. And then over the next couple of days, I'll show you a few more strategies. So I'm going to reach down here and take Captain's leash off. Okay, first things first. You got this home. Okay, so I'm going to pretend like this is the front door right here to my home. This orange rope represents the critical zone. Now use your imagination a little bit and drag it just a little bit closer to the door, but I couldn't do that because when I tried to open the door, it got snagged on my rope. So maybe I should have just had some spray paint down here or whatever. But no one says that you can only own one leash. There's no law against owning multiple leashes. When I'm training my dogs, when we have new dogs, we have new puppies or dogs we've adopted, I'm telling you what, I have leashes hung on hooks by my door. They hang right there where I'd probably hang my coat, where I'd hang my beanie or whatever. Hanging right there. Because when that doorbell rings or someone knocks on my door, the first thing that happens with that untrained dog is this. Everybody, leash up. Now he is trained to leash up. I showed you guys that in a video. On goes the leash. Now I have control of my dog. But if you have your dog on a leash and you're holding this much slack, you really don't have control of your dog. So not only put your dog on a leash, short leash it for me. This can all happen in all of about 5 seconds. In the meanwhile, you can say through the door, give me 1 second, please. And then once the dog is under control, then you step forward, require the dog to stay here. Even if they don't know how to stay, just physically restrain them back behind you. Then reach over, go and knock on the door, Morgan. So I have a guest. Hey, all right, let's go see who it is. So I put my leash on my dog. I'm going to short leash him, put him back behind me. Greetings, how are you? Now at this point here, I can feel my dog. What's happening here? If I cannot accurately assess how my dog is dealing with this encounter, when in doubt, just remove the dog from the situation. So right now at this point here, I'm going to pretend like that's the problem. Captain may be hiding behind me. I may hear a low growl. He may be trying to lunge forward. If any of these things happen at all, hi, come on in and shut the door. Good to see you again. Can you give me a second? Go put your dog up. I'm not saying the dog has to stay up the entire time your guest is over at your home. I need decay. Let the dog settle down. Even if you put your dog up, it will smell this person. It will hear this person. It will be extremely aware of this person's presence. And decay is starting to happen. But get that dog back behind you. Back behind you for now. Even if you make them sit, throw a leg out there. Good to see you again. How are you? Don't lose track of your dog. Have a short leash right here. Very good. And even doing this can cause the dog to become a little bit more reactive. Because again, you're step on over here, Morgan, a little bit closer. Right there. Now she's in that darn critical zone. Yeah, it can cause my dog to become a little bit reactive. But hey, I've got time. I've got my dog. Okay, give me 1 second. Heel. And we can go and I can take my dog and go put my dog somewhere else. Somewhere else. Okay, if you know someone's coming to your home, they're going to be here in about 5 minutes. Go ahead and step out again, Morgan, please. Then you can already have your dog on a leash. But do me a favor. Please do me a favor here. If you leash up your dog a few minutes prior to your guest arriving, and that's the only time you ever do that, well, you just let that genie out of the bottle. They'll get it. The second you grab that leash down, they realize someone is coming. So if you do this, sometimes do it when no one's coming over at all. Same thing, it helps out with going for a walk, honestly. Dogs that get super excited about going for a walk because the leash gets put on them, oh, heck. Around my house, I put leashes on all the time. Just go, see ya. Walk around, leave, go do something else for a little while. Watch them, you know, again, you're always worried about safety, so keep an eye on them. But then I'll come pick it up. So sometimes we go for a walk when the leash is on, sometimes we don't. Sometimes guests come over, sometimes they don't. But this is the real deal. Guest is coming over, so I already got the leash on. Go ahead and knock. Hey, we have company. I can go to the door. Now again, I'm going to show you other options tomorrow. I'm going to park my dog right here, get it behind me, right there. How are you? Good to see you. Now I'm going to step over here in front of my dog again. I'm going to block my dog. Obstacles. We talked about that, especially with territorial protection. Obstacles are not what animals want. They want a clear vantage point. Obstacles will blunt aggression. Throw an obstacle in front of your dog's way. Good to see you again. Thank you for coming over. Tell you what, I'm going to go put my dog up, and if you'll go ahead and shut the door there and just come on into the den over here if you'd like to and have a seat, and I'll be right with you. Heel, and I'll just take my dog and off we'll go. Okay, that's it for today. Quick review. The door is always the critical zone. Let Captain off. Free, buddy. The door is always the critical zone. Always. So think about it before you just allow your dog to go. I would say never. Put that dog on a leash. Absolutely. You never know how a dog is going to interpret someone on any given day. So put them on a leash, get them behind you, bring the person in, feel your dog. They're a little relaxed, keep them on a leash for a little while. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But for right now today, just go put them up real quickly. Allow the dog to decay. And I'm telling you what, they'll get to meet them and they'll get all that socialization in that you want them to have. We're just going to get past this right here. Guys, I've been doing this for 40 years. I know I've said that before, but I really want you to look at that number. Give that some thought for a second. I interviewed people. This is what I do. On a daily basis, I deal with fearful and aggressive dogs. And if I had $1 for every single owner who said to me that they wished they had listened to me, they had known about what I was preaching here, about knowing the critical zone. If I had $1 for every one of those, I wish they could have changed what happened, I'd be a very wealthy man. It's not worth it. Cost versus benefit. Every action we take, every action your animal takes, cost versus benefit. Always run that through your head. What is the benefit of meeting at the door? Until your dog is trained, to me, there's no benefit. Socialization can happen later at a safe distance. And your animal will actually be able to assess and judge these people more accurately without lasting consequences from a distance. Okay, guys, I hope you found that helpful. Hope you changed what you're doing. If you've been doing it wrong, let's go ahead and get that all changed up. Tomorrow, we're going to show you how to employ stay and place, two wonderful behaviors for these door greetings. And then over the next couple of days after that, we'll continue on to where they come in, they have a seat in your room, what to do, what not to do, so on and so forth down there. If you found it beneficial, please share it. I need you to share the stuff, guys, out there. And also, if you have any questions, send them in to me. I've been getting a lot of questions lately, so I really do appreciate it. But honestly, I do have a lot to do outside of these Facebook Live events. I got a packed day today coming up. So if I don't get to you in the very day that you send that question in, I promise I will get to them in a timely manner. Keep them coming. I'm even turning Joshua over to some of these, getting my staff involved here. We will get them back. We'll either answer you personally or we're going to put it on our Facebook Live and answer that question there. Okay, guys, appreciate your time. Thank you. Hope you don't have a manic Monday. I'll check in with you guys again tomorrow. Until then, be safe.